So there's a lot of new players and a lot of veterans coming back into Final Fantasy. And one of the biggest things I'm seeing on the Reddit and all over the place is that people are having healing anxiety or fear of healing because they don't want to get their team wiped, because they want to learn how to play healer, but they're scared to mess up. And I'm here today to give you some tips that I use to help you with your healing journey and kind of calm those nerves as we get into our healing. Let's talk about it. I don't like to hold you up, so let's get right into it. What's up, good people? It's your Final Fantasy homie Jay, and the very first thing I wanted to tell you is that people do not have to be at max health all the time. One of the struggles that I had when I first started off healing was thinking that I always had to keep people at cap health at all times, which is false. The only thing you need to do is make sure people don't die, and that's either keeping them at half health or just give them a little regen when they're taking some damage and let the regen do its job of just healing them. But you do not have to keep people at full health all the time. That also goes for tanks. If tanks are using their damage mitigations correctly, you can pop a regen and do your damage and don't have to worry about the tank most of the time in a lot of dungeons. Unless they're doing massive pulls, then you adjust accordingly. But the biggest thing you have to understand is that if you take that concept that you don't have to keep people at full health all the time, it really takes away a lot of the stress of being a healer, because the stress of having to keep people full all the time, no matter how many mistakes they make, it's going to stress you out. It's going to feel overwhelming, and it's going to make you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Instead, understand that people's health doesn't have to be full. As long as they're not dead, you're doing fine. That's all that matters, and just keep going from there, and the stress will start to ease up a little bit. The second suggestion that I want to make is to set some dungeon goals for yourself, and this can also apply to DPS or tank or anything, but since we're talking about healer, let's focus here. Is to set dungeon goals, where one thing that I did is when I went to a dungeon, I told myself I would not heal a tank unless they reach a certain threshold of health. That way I can start practicing learning how to heal optimally without over healing too much. That when the tank gets to have health, I'll heal. Or this dungeon, every time we go to do a pull, I'm going to remember to pop a regen on the tank first, and then adjust accordingly depending on how the health is going. But set realistic goals for yourself, something to strive for, to start forming those habits of how to handle things as a healer. They'll really go a long way. Is to set mini goals for yourself for each dungeon, and then apply those goals on top of other goals to hopefully reach a better understanding of healing that can deal with that anxiety issue or that stress of how do I heal. Healing can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be if we give ourselves these little goals to focus on as we progress in our healing abilities. Comment below what's keeping you from wanting to heal, whether you just hate the job or the stress is just overwhelming. That way other people can help maybe answer some questions for you, or even me, because I respond to every single comment that is dropped on my video. So I look forward to talking to you about that, hopefully helping you through your process. The next suggestion I'll make, and this one's for people who don't really like talking in the chat, is just let the group know, hey, this is my first time healing this dungeon. I don't know how well I'm gonna do. This is my first time running this class at this dungeon. Can we pull a little less so I can kind of make sure that I got my rotations down? And 95% of the people are going to be completely fine with it, because Final Fantasy is a great community that really enjoys having new people. Like, we like helping people and it's just a great way to go ahead and set the expectations of your healing abilities, so you don't have to feel that stress of trying to keep up with the tank. Or if you want to push your limits, which we'll talk about in the next point, say, hey, tank, this is my first time healing this dungeon, but I want to limit tests. So give me what you got and let's see how much I can kill us. Now, the last suggestion I want to say is don't be afraid to limit test. Like, limit test your healing abilities. If your team wipes, it's not the worst thing that can happen. But what you can do is, it's a lot of valuable information you can learn from learning, like, how much damage can my tank take before I heal them? How much damage can I output before my tank needs to be healed? How much can I do in a short amount of time before healing it needs to be applied? And you'll start learning like your damage limits. You'll start seeing cues of people's health, saying, okay, once somebody's health reach here, I really need to heal them. If their health is above here, I don't have to worry about it. I just pop a regen, everything's okay. And it really starts helping with that stress of understanding that as a healer, you have a lot of things going on for you. It's a lot of micromanaging. You're watching people's health bars. You're watching your health bar. You're dodging things. You make sure the tank is okay. You're, fixing people's mistakes, fixing DPS mistakes when they get hit by things. And that requires a lot of attention. And sometimes you need to just limit test and see, how far you can go with the abilities you have. And those failures will start making the stress of healing go down more, because as you make mistakes, you're going to learn from them. And it's okay to make mistakes. Be willing to make mistakes as a healer and watch how far you become. If you try to perfect healing from the beginning, you're not going to learn anything and it's going to stress you out. There's been countless of times that I've had people wipe because of my healing, and I've become a better healer because of that, because I've learned, crap, I should have healed them a little quicker. Dang, I should have dropped this res a little faster. Oh, I should have done the AoE heal here. I was trying to do single target heal. And I wouldn't have got where I am now in healing if it wasn't for the mistakes I make. So be willing to make mistakes, limit tests, and just understand that everybody had to start somewhere in any class that you play. If you ever want to come hang with me and chit chat, my Twitch link is in the description below. It's a great time there. I love talking to people. And as always, happy questing. Go out there and heal somebody or get your team wiped, whichever one's more comfortable for you. But remember, mistakes is a learning opportunity. Take care.